Hey, what's up guys, this is Angel from Apex Gaming with more Yakuza 7 news that had come up in the past 24 hours. We have two different sources right now, and the first one is the Sega Nama that appears to be a podcast. I'm really not familiar with this kind of format. Some sort of podcast, and the director of Yakuza series went there and detailed some stuff for the new battle system, the controversial battle system. So we are going to take a look at that. And there's also there was a Weekly Famitsu developer interview with the developers of the Yakuza series, and there's a lot of information regarding not only the battle system but of the game in general. So let's dive right into it, starting with the battle system. We have new points. In case you haven't checked out the last video we did regarding the comments of the producer of the game, Masayoshi Yokoyama, check out the link in the description down below. There will be all the information that we will probably not be touching in this piece of information. So General Director Toshihiro Nagoshi shared more tidbits of information on the Yakuza Like a Dragon or Yakuza 7 Whereabouts of Light and Darkness battle system during latest Sega Nama broadcast. This information comes from website gematsu.com, and it says like this: since we've always done action up until now, doing action again and following the system would honestly make it really hard to come up with something that goes beyond what we already had. We wanted to do something new and fresh, and yeah, they've done it, and with a lot of controversy. The interface is still in development, so the appearance will change quite a bit. So what we have right now, the controversial image that has been shown all over the internet and Reddit and all the stuff, this is subject to change. Perhaps the bottom layout and the characters right here at the bottom right, all this is going to be changing. It also says the tempo of battle is not quite the same as selecting multiple commands, then watching the battle unfold based on the actions you selected. More than pure action, it is quite close to the feeling of endlessly watching a battle between several people. That is really good. It takes some time getting used to, but there are some tricks here and there, and if you learn them, you can play with the same habit of playing an action game. If what you're picturing is an old school command RPG, then that's the wrong impression. This will be completely different. So everybody that had the idea that it would be like some sort of classic Final Fantasy VII or Chrono Trigger style stuff, get rid of that. This is completely different regarding what the director says, and we will get all this new feeling when the new Tokyo Game Show edition arrives next week, because the game will be shown there, and they will absolutely, I'm almost certain that they will be airing a new trailer or something regarding the combat system. They should be, they must do that. So we're not fans of the slow pace, so it is not our intention in the least to create that sort of thing. There's also an auto battle feature that's good. The AI is quite intelligent. There are some crazy developments we can do that go beyond the limits of hit actions. First time I think they have talked about hit actions in this game, so they're not denying that there's not going to be hit actions, but they're saying that there's something else. I don't know if something more complex, something more flashy. This is still very vague, if we can put a word on it, and such that we are able to accomplish because we are making an RPG. While we're considering doing a hybrid of action and command, it would be the same as creating two titles, and there wasn't enough time for that. There is an action-like element where after selecting a command, you can follow up with a final blow attack through the additional button input. If a party member is near an enemy character when you attack, the party member will also join in on the attack. We had several hit actions that were like you join forces with an ally, so should be some sort of thing like that. If you didn't know what it was, you would think you're playing an action game. That is really interesting regarding the battle system, And now let's go to the Famitsu weekly interview. Unlike Kazuma Kiryu, Ichiban Kasuga is not a man of immense strength who can march into enemy territory by himself. He fights alongside his friends, and the game system that best expresses this fact is an RPG. Okay, that the power of Kiryu is not present with the protagonist, so they're relying more on the comrades. The April Fool's video was well received, since we never said that's how it's going to be. The legitimacy of the praise is another question entirely. We want to prove that Ryuga Gotoku Studio can properly create something other than an action-adventure game. It's good that they are parting ways what they actually already master, and I think that's, as a studio or as a creative entity, an enterprise, it's good for them to take those risks. Sometimes they will pay off, and sometimes they won't, but I'm really glad they are doing these new controversial decisions. While it may have been a decision that deviates from assured income on the business side, upper management recognize our courage to take a leap of faith and go down a new path. This is a numbered Yakuza title because the studio considers it to be a true successor of the Yakuza series. By developing and leveling up your characters, you will be able to compete against stronger enemies. The concept of Yakuza 7 is to be able to experience a rise up from the bottom, so classic RPG there. Character abilities, preparations made before battle, combination of party members, and strategies will influence the outcome of the battles. So instead of just going full Leroy Jenkins and smash here and there, you will have a more tactical sense of battle. I really like this stuff. If I'm being sincere, I have just played one game from RGG Studios, Judgment. I really liked it, but up to one point the combat was like no-brainer for me, just smash buttons, combo here and there, but I like this more tactical side. I know that not everybody likes the tactical aspect of these fights, but I think it's going to be a nice change of pace. There are no elements where traditional forms of action step in, okay? It feels as if you're playing an action game, what we have already read in the past article. Rather than playing out a set scene like your typical command RPG, the surroundings are calculated and controlled in real time. If there is a trash can or bicycle nearby, you will automatically kick it to attack. If a car passes by, it can run you over. Judging your surroundings is another form of strategy. Each attack has an attack range, and you can also deal area of effect damage. This is really cool. And attack range, I wonder how far can you throw these things? That is very interesting. The flow of the story is the same as the episodes depicted in Yakuza Online, but everything from character relationships to events is different. I haven't played Yakuza Online, I don't know what he refers in this point. Overall gameplay time is longer than previous titles. Longer, oh man. The main story alone is more than twice as long. That's crazy. Let's see, what's the average time for a Yakuza series entry. So for example, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, on average we have 19 hours to play the main story and all the extras, 44 hours, so completion is around 51 hours. So if the main story alone is almost the double, we're talking about a 40 hours game. That is amazing. So 40 hours plus all the extra stuff, karaoke, they haven't confirmed any of this, so but thinking karaoke, side missions, all the mini games, this game is gonna be huge, really huge. By playing sub-stories and play spots, both Kasuga and his party will become stronger. You can also earn money, experience points, and skills. You can set jobs for characters. Okay, that's interesting. Depending on the party member, there are both jobs that are easy to become as well as jobs difficult to become. Interesting. The game uses a symbol encounter system. There are also enemies that appear out of nowhere and turn into battles. The feeling of walking the streets is the same as previous titles. I love that. The map size has significantly increased, and some areas have strong enemies that cannot be defeated unless you develop your characters to a certain level. Okay, there is a fast travel system. There will not be any areas blocked off due to story. Instead, strong enemies will act as barriers. Well, they're blocked by the enemies, so it's not like you can just run across. They're blocked. Okay. There are also elemental weapons. What the hell? Yokohama is not ruled by either the Toyo clan or the Omi Alliance. You will find out why when you play the game. The in-game Ijincho is quite different from the Choyamachi of the real world. It incorporates the essence that it used to be an entertainment district back in the day. Ijincho is made into the point that people who live around the real Yokohama might get mad at us and say, hey, our city isn't like this. Okay. Not including dungeons and such, the pure size of the area is 3 to 4 times bigger than Kamurocho. Wow, 3 to 4 times. Each area has different great equipment you can buy. Okay, you will also go to Kamurocho at a certain point in the game. That's awesome. Dragon Quest appears as a normal world that exists in the game. The name Dragon Quest itself is used quite often. Puff Puff also appears, but with different wording. When you enter battle, both your own and the enemy's appearance transform. Enemies will wear trash cans on their heads, be half naked, or have different names. Even party members will suddenly pull out swords. Okay. Battles are depicted as RPG-like landscapes because that is how Kasuga imagines them. From an outsider's perspective, it's just seen as a regular fight. That's pretty cool. The only form of enjoyment Kasuga had as a child was playing Dragon Quest. He pictures himself as a hero who will one day go on an adventure, and his belief in fighting fair and square was influenced by Dragon Quest. Battles are constantly influenced by the world of Dragon Quest. Being betrayed by his boss and cast away in a strange land is Kasuga in the midst of his adventure. Making allies strengthens that feeling, and that is what we are expressing with battles this time. When it is a game set in modern times, it's hard to tell how strong a character is just by their looks or features. The theme of Kasuga's battles is to make that distinguishable by implementing RPG elements. For instance, if the enemy is using an excavator, punching an excavator doesn't look realistic at all in life. Although, if the looks are altered, it will make sense. Playing it still feels like a Yakuza game, nothing has been lost there. That's very reassuring, and that's very, very good news. We're not tackling simple ideas and habits, we choose the name Yakuza 7 with readiness, determination, and pride. The real-life value of game creator is to make something that you will actually want to play with a controller. I want to make something that won't satisfy with let's play alone. We're actually making this with a pretty serious theme of reinventing where video games stand as a media. This is really, really, really good. I think getting all this information is very refreshing and very it gives a very solid base to where Yakuza 7 is going to stand, and I think it will cool down a little bit of the impressions, the bad impressions that all the people had with the first trailer and the mention of the turn-based combat system. Some of these details are really, really amazing. Double the size of the story, 4 times the size of the map of Kamurocho, battle system, locked areas by tougher enemies. This is gonna be really, really, really good. I'm getting very excited about. Let's wait for the Tokyo Game Show in just a week. Thank you for watching. See you later.